September is National Healthy Aging Month. It is a time to focus on promoting healthy aging and raising awareness about the importance of maintaining physical, mental, and social well-being as we get older. And today I am joined by Dr. Valerie Fuller, the president for the American Association of Nursing Practitioners. Good morning, Dr. Fuller. Thank you so much for being with me.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, of course. Okay, so National Healthy Aging Month. It sounds
Yes.
pretty straightforward, but it can be very hard, to maintain health as you age. So, what is the purpose of recognizing this month?
Sure. So, Healthy Aging Month, and we also just recently celebrated National Grandparents' Day. These are both observances to remind us that the changes we make now can have long-term dividends for us in terms of our health and longevity. So, really focusing on some of the pillars of health are things like physical activity, nutrition, social engagement, things like cognitive stimulation and mental well-being all help us live better longer.
Absolutely. Okay. Speaking of those kind of, keeping your body moving, eating
Yeah.
healthy, even cognitive, what are
Yeah.
some activities that can assist in healthy aging?
Sure. Physical health is really foundational. I always recommend that people stay active. I'll share quickly my mom's story. My mother is a person who's always prioritized activity. She just turned 86. She's incredibly mobile, and she's been incredibly well. So, the importance of exercising as much as you can. I usually recommend people try to aim for about 150 minutes a week. So go out there, take a brisk walk, call a friend, call a neighbor. Those will all help. And then think about things like trying to eat more fruits and vegetables or drink more water. All of these can improve, how we feel in our vitality.
Yeah, and I can say that, my dad will get on a kick of walking. He's walking
Yep.
every day for an hour per day, but then he hits that, plateau. What are ways to excuse me, the highs, then the plateaus, and kind of keep it just steady?
Sure. I think providing a little education is always a good thing. Reminding them that this really does help them in terms of balance and strength and maintaining some of their cardiovascular fitness. Very interesting study put out by the American College of Sports Medicine, where they were looking at older adults that participated in community exercise programs like walking. And it found that some people were actually able to either reverse or slow some of the changes that we see with cardiovascular health and strength. And so these all work together to keep you healthy. And if we can avoid things like falls, it really does improve your longevity.
Yeah, a fall can really make or break, unfortunately,
Absolutely.
as we get older. So, kind of speaking to that, reversing the things, if someone's genetically predisposed to, a disease or what have you, bad health, what advice
Yeah.
would you give them to, live and maintain a healthy lifestyle?
Sure. See your nurse practitioner. We focus on the entire patient. We are holistic caregivers, highly trained, clinically educated, and we focus on things like prevention. But we also want to help you manage your chronic illnesses.
Mhm.
And so it's important to see your nurse practitioner when you're not feeling well, but it's also very important to see her when you are feeling well, or see him or her, I shouldn't say her, him or her when you are feeling well, because we want to do all the things that we need to do to keep you healthy. Things like screening exams, the annual physical exam, checking appropriate lab tests, all of those things to help keep you healthy. But we do want to help you manage your chronic illnesses so that you can lead the healthiest life possible.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking to that, and you kind of just said it, but life expectancy, it's increased as the years have gone on. Hopefully it continues to increase. So what
Yeah.
are things that we can, start in today and do in our day-to-day lives to keep that, life expectancy on the rise?
Yeah, I'll add social connection in here. It's really important. We know that these connections are help not only prevent things like loneliness and depression and anxiety, but when we have some of these intergenerational connections, like between grandparents and grandchildren, since we just celebrated that holiday, we know that both the senior and the younger person benefit from these relationships. The older adult really feels some pride in that mentorship, and younger people learn a lot about aging and about empathy when they spend time with older adults. And what I really liked about this year's past holiday on September 7th on Grandparents' Day was the story of, it was called Stories from the Table. And I really loved
Mm.
that concept of everyone sitting around a table, sharing a meal or sharing stories, because those connections really matter as we get older. And isolation can be a very real thing for seniors.
Yeah, and speaking to that cognitive, tracing back in your memory, bringing up what happened in your past, just talking about memories is, I can assume, very good for cognitive function.
Absolutely. And again, you need to keep your brain engaged, exercise it like it's a muscle, keep engaged. Think about things like reading or doing puzzles or and again, exercise. I'll add that here is that we know that when we exercise or do activities, that it actually releases serotonin in your brain, and that's our happy chemical. So we feel better when we exercise. So it keeps you mentally well as well.
Yeah. And Dr. Fuller, any negative aging signs to be, on alert for?
I think if you or your family members notice any cognitive changes, please see your nurse practitioner. We want to work with you to uncover what might be causing that. Um, and other things, if someone seems like they've withdrawn or isolating themselves, I do think about things like depression and anxiety. If you have those, please seek mental health treatment. It's incredibly important. Again, your nurse practitioner wants to see you, and we can help you with that.
Awesome. Dr. Fuller, for our viewers out there, where can they go for more information on National Healthy Aging Month?
Yeah, great question. AANP.org or WeChooseNPs.com.
Awesome. Dr. Fuller, thank you so much for your time and happy National Healthy Aging Month.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.